Is this was this Academy Awards? Anyway, feminist Conor McGregor.
Who the fuck is that guy?
It's a weird walk for a weird broad, and I don't like her.
It is, and it's really mean to put her next to Gal Gadot, who's absolutely stunning.
Here are the nominees for Best Visual Effects.
They look like they hate each other up there.
Yeah, I don't know if I could tell that. I can just tell that
There's worse stuff. They won't do press together. There's apparently beef right there.
Our rights are on the line, folks. Our reproductive rights.
Ugh.
Come on,
Okay, Cheshire Cat.
go vote blue. And if you disagree with this sentiment, just hit the unfollow button.
What happens when a fairy tale remake becomes a real-life nightmare? Disney's live-action Snow White promised a magical update to a timeless classic, but instead, it's drowning in drama so wild it might just outshine the story itself. Two leading ladies, a mountain of controversy, and a box office flop that's got everyone talking. Stick around, because this tale is darker than anything the evil queen could cook up.
The original
Disney
cartoon
does.
came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Yeah. Weird. So we didn't do that this time.
Let's start with the numbers, because they don't lie. Disney poured a jaw-dropping $270 million into this live-action reimagining, banking on a blockbuster to rival their past hits. Opening weekend rolls around in March 2025, and the haul, a measly $43 million. That's not just a stumble, it's a full-on faceplant. Whispers started swirling fast. Something went horribly wrong behind the scenes. Insiders pointed fingers, fans took sides, and the whole project began to look less like a fairy tale and more like a cautionary tale about Hollywood gone haywire. But what sparked this mess?
You don't particularly see people who, look like me or are me playing roles like that. So it was definitely, when it got announced, it was a huge...
You mean your guess is as good as mine,
thing.
ethnicity?
Trending on Twitter for days because all of the people were angry.
Enter Rachel Zegler, the young star tapped to play Snow White. From the moment her casting dropped, the internet erupted. She's Colombian, not skin white as snow, and that alone had some fans clutching their pearls. Then she opened her mouth. In a 2022 interview, Zegler called the original 1937 cartoon weird, dissing the prince as a stalker and promising a Snow White who's a leader, not a dreamer waiting for love. Bold? Sure. But it didn't sit right with diehards who grew up singing "Someday My Prince Will Come." The backlash was instant, and Zegler wasn't about to back down. That fire was just the beginning.
It was this
people
awakening
that we need to educate, the people that we need to love into awareness.
Love them in the right direction.
Yeah, because there's nothing more effective than 19-year-olds educating the rest of the voting public while yelling, "Okay, boomer."
Fast forward to August 2024, and Zegler drops a bomb that shakes the whole production. After hyping the Snow White trailer on X, she tacks on 3 little words: Free Palestine. Cue chaos. Her co-star Gal Gadot is Israeli and a vocal supporter of her homeland after the October 2023 attacks. Suddenly, Gadot's facing a flood of death threats online, bad enough that Disney scrambles to beef up her security. Insiders say the studio freaked out, begging Zegler to delete the post. She refused. Producer Mark Platt even flew across the country to talk her down, but that tweet stayed up, and the rift between the two stars started looking like a chasm, and that wasn't the whole story.
I don't need your business. You know what? Maybe Disney does. Maybe you're a tool, you're a pawn in this film. You didn't write it, you didn't direct it. You have nothing to do with the creation of Snow White.
Right.
You should shut up and do the job.
Gal Gadot, the evil queen herself, brought her own heat to this fire. Known for her Wonder Woman swagger, she's been outspoken about Israel for years. When Zegler's post hit, Gadot didn't clap back directly. She kept it classy, sticking to promo mode. But the threats kept coming, and Disney wasn't taking chances with their glamorous villain. Extra guards, hushed meetings, the works. Sources say Gadot was frustrated, caught in a storm she didn't start, trying to focus on a role she called glamorous evil, while the world watched her co-star steal headlines. Things were tense, but what happened next would shock everyone.
Kidding. They had the whole dwarf midget issue where they decided they weren't going to have any midget actors, right? They were having DEI-inspired magical creatures to replace. So we'll guarantee no employment for little people while getting rid of this other component that warranted CGI. It was the worst decision they could possibly make.
Picture this. It's the Oscars, March 2nd, 2025. Zegler and Gadot step on stage to present Best Visual Effects. All smiles for the cameras. They nail it, until Zegler fires off an Instagram comment later, calling Gadot a professional pageant queen. Ouch. Subtle shade or outright jab? Fans picked it apart and the vibe shifted fast. Insiders say that's when the gloves came off. Disney wanted them to sell this movie together, but the Oscars moment cracked whatever truce they had. From there, the promo tour turned into a game of keep away and the tension was about to boil over.
They did this before all this beef. The first line in the trailer is Snow White is like, "Can we just be nice?" And the queen, the evil queen, goes, "I don't remember you being so opinionated."
The fallout hit hard. Photo shoots for global marketing canceled multiple times. Sources say Zegler walked off set at least once, fed up with poses or how much spotlight Gadot got. Disney tried to patch things up with a big Hollywood ceremony honoring Gadot's Walk of Fame star. Perfect chance for a united front, right? Zegler didn't show. Studio execs were livid, warning her it'd tank her image and the films. She didn't budge. Press events got split, Gadot on one coast, Zegler on the other. At the premiere, they sat rows apart, barely glancing at each other. The beef was real, and it was sinking the ship, but there's more to this disaster.
Here are the nominees for Best Visual Effects.
They look like they hate each other up there.
I don't know if I could tell that. I can just tell that
there's worse stuff. They won't do press together. There's apparently beef right there.
The film itself didn't help. Remember the 7 dwarfs? They're gone, replaced by CGI magical creatures after backlash over not casting little people. Progressive move or DEI misstep? Fans were split. Then there's the prince, or lack of one. Zegler's Snow White doesn't get saved by a kiss. She's a warrior calling the shots. It's a feminist flex, but it alienated viewers who wanted that classic charm. Critics called it hollow and muddled, and the box office proved it. A 66% drop in week 2, the worst ever for a Disney live-action flick. The creative risks were bold, but they left a lot of folks cold.
In this movie, who was supposed to be the hero in Snow White? The original story, the original adaptation. It was the prince, the quote-unquote stalker, who kisses her and wakes her up and saves her life.
He's a stalker.
In this movie, she's like, oh my God, he's like a stalker. Or like, why is he like... So...
He would have been arrested.
And I don't know if you're looking for a love story, you're not going to get that. We're doing it different. She's telling you, don't come to Snow White.
Disney scrambled to fix the PR nightmare. Zegler got a social media guru to vet her posts after she trashed Trump post-2024 election. Another headache the studio didn't need. Gadot kept pushing the film, glowing in interviews despite the chaos. Execs tried to muzzle Zegler's politics, but she kept talking about rights, about educating the masses, while the film's hype faded. By premiere night, hope was gone. Insiders say the studio just wanted it over, ready to cut losses and move on. The $250 million overrun from reshoots and edits didn't help. This wasn't a fairy tale ending. It was a wake-up call.
She is beautiful. Hold on, let's not front.
She's a cute chick.
But look how beautiful you go from like unattractive because of the shit that comes out of your mouth.
Move on this one.
Listen, you take your kids to go see Snow White? Your girls?
No.
It's supposed to be a kids movie and all this drama's in it.
I asked my kids a question the other day. Movies or ice cream.
We saw that.
And all of
Brooklyn, no hesitation.
Period.
Fans, though, they're divided. Online, some hail Zegler as a fearless voice, loving her unfiltered vibe. She's got guts, one ex-post raved, others aren't buying it, calling her entitled, blaming her for dragging Gadot into the mess. No one believes Gadot's jealous of her. Another snapped, nodding to Gadot's stunning evil queen look. Gadot's fans defend her polish, but even her shine got dimmed by the drama. TikTok's buzzing with takes. Some say the film's a woke flop, others argue it's misunderstood. Either way, the chatter's loud, and it's not about the movie's magic.
163,000 rating, of which it got 1.6, not out of 5. Like, you know, sometimes you go to McDonald's, it's 1.6 out of 5.
Yeah.
1.6 out of 10.
What's her friend screaming?
Wow.
And this, by the way, nobody was in there.
Disney's Bob Iger says their mission is to entertain, not send messaging as Snow White sales compete for worst performing live action Disney adaptation ever.
So where does this leave them? Snow White might be a box office bust, but rumors are swirling that Zegler and Gadot could rebound with Marvel roles. Zegler's fire and Gadot's grit have Hollywood buzzing. Will this mess bury them or launch them higher? Disney's licking its wounds, but the real question lingers. Can two stars this big share a spotlight again without burning it down? Tell us what you think. Did Zegler tank this, or did the studio fumble the ball? Drop your take below because this fairy tale's far from over.